Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel. A week ago, it was all rosy in the Man United camp. Couple of injuries have turned that sentiment right round. Webby, Højlund, injured, possible 6 weeks out. Lenny Yoro, my God, that's a devastating assessment. Could be out for 3 months. How do you see things now?
Every time we get a player, that something's going to happen, like they're going to get injured.
We're cursed.
There's a curse on us, Tony. But it's just one of those things, you think that just someone watching us there and we get a player and they get injured. Just hopefully the last games we've got left on this tour that we don't collect any more injuries, But it's just one of those things. So I'm scared of watching the matches. I'm scared to look at them the next day. But it's part of football, Tony. You pick up these injuries. And unfortunate for us that they're not 1 week or 2 weeks. They're like 6 weeks or 2 or 3 months. But it's just whatever.
Curse.
It's a curse on us. So it's a curse, but you got to get on with it, haven't you? We did it last year, We've got other people that'll come in and it will do a job for us, But you're just seeing the point of seeing these injuries and people going off and you're thinking, when's this going to stop? Just get them back. Make sure, obviously, I still think we're going to get a couple of more players signed before we play Fulham.
Do you think it's imperative now with Lenny Yoro, with the assessment, 3 months injury, that's how it looks, that's how long he'll be out? Should we go and get another centre-half? Would that be a panic buy, Webby?
It depends if the ones we've got stay fit. You look at last year, the likes of, obviously,
Maguire,
Lindelof being injured.
Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans was our best centre-half last year. People laughed at me when I said it. And he will play. He will play because we just seem to pick up these injuries where they're off 2 or 3 games. And Johnny Evans was in and he did a good job for us. By rights, he should just be in this club to help with these young ones. But with the injuries we had last year, Tony, he had to play.
Yeah.
He should be on the beach now having a retirement, but he's done a job for us. So he got that extra contract. Yeah. But I think there's a few more that's going to come back in. Come to the club. I think we need him, There's talk of Scott leaving.
Is that a blow? Good squad player?
Yeah, if you're the right player, you look at the Arsenal's have got 35 million for the kid.
Smith Rowe,
they've got 35, so we've got to get 35 as well. We've been acting like a football club recently, and we've got to do it. No point selling him for 10 mil. Get the money, get 35 like Arsenal have.
Yeah, some people are saying
I want him to stay.
Yeah,
but as a squad player, he's good to have. You look at the Euro and all that. Not actually Euros, the group games. The top goal scorer for Scotland.
But he's been here a long time now. 27, 1 year left on his contract. Is it the right time for him to move on? Because it looks as though Scott is prepared to go because these bids are coming in. They're looking to get rid of players, bring in younger players.
I think any player. I think if you get to that final year, the ball's in your court. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, I think if they're going on 18 months left and the contract's not signed, then the ball's in their court to sign and say, well, listen, I'm not doing enough new contracts. I'm come January, they can start playing, and we don't get any money for him.
Yeah.
I think they know now, if the money's right, now I look at Wan-Bissaka, 15 million, no, come on. So, be a football club, get 30 million for him.
Well, I rate him bigger than 15 million. But he's in
West Ham gives 8 and 10. But apparently the word on the street is that he's turned down a new contract. He's got a year left. He loves London. So it's obvious that West Ham are going to have a look at him.
So United really are at the mercy of West Ham upping the bid. And at the end of the day, it looks as though they might have to take what West Ham, that's what people out there are saying. I think West Ham will just hang on in there and just give 10 million. But let's get some positivity into this video, Webby, because what an exciting battle is coming. Ahmad, I've said it, lots of people out there, he's going to force Sancho and Anthony to the sidelines. What an exciting time he's been having on that field, Webby. He's committed.
Yeah, last year, you look at him in the Liverpool game, and other games where he come on and top player. He deserves. I look at other players where they were getting that one game and then not being involved or on the bench, but he's good enough to start every game, and that's no disrespect to Anthony or Sancho. For me, if I'm picking a team that Ahmed starts the game.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see the game this morning, but apparently he was super. He played well. He scored.
Yeah.
He got man of the match. You know, we know he's good enough. So fair play to him. You know what I mean? He deserves it, because I look at him thinking he deserves to get that game. 3, 4, 5, 6 games on the run. Not one game, then he's on the bench for 2 games and he doesn't play. We've seen what he did.
Yeah.
And what he can do. You know, and fair play to him, you know what I mean? And I think next year, you know, people are going on about other players who are at the club and all that. And there's a lot of talk about him. But if you've watched him, he's a great, great player. And I think he's got a great future if he gets enough games.
Well, if you go back to last year, Garnacho was coming through proper. And at the start of the season, he was given 4 games. Didn't do well, but Erik ten Hag persevered with him, took him out of the firing line, and then brought him back. We've seen what's happened. We've also seen what happened with Mainu. Mainu got an injury in pre-season. He's come back. Look at him now, Webby. He's on the world stage. This is what can happen, and hopefully Ahmad is following in that footsteps there, Webby. But who else is there? Obviously, I think the club are looking at Amas. Can he force his way through?
I think he can. I look at some of the young players, the fullbacks, and I wasn't disappointed last year when, you know, each game for the last 10, 12 games we had Wan-Bissaka and Delo, and we got away with it, you know what I mean? And I felt sorry for them because they were playing every game. They were never getting a game break because we had nobody else. You know, Luke Shaw was injured, you know, and I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw, but you can't trust him, you know. He'll play 1 or 2 games and then he's out for 5 or 6. Great player, but we need someone there who can play 90% of games, you know. And some of the kids there, the young kid who ended up, I forget his name now. What's he called? The kid who was at Preston, the Spanish kid, Fernandez, top player.
Fernandez
got player of the season at Preston, and he's gone to Benfica.
Yeah,
you know. So basically, it's mad what we've got there. We've got to get few. We need 2 players for each position.
Yes,
we need 2 players for each position. You know, and I'm not going to say we're going to come and win the league or get there. We've got to come forth, but it's down to the club now to get the players. You know, because we got away with it last year with the fullbacks. Because if you look at them, they played every game. They never got a rest because we didn't have another one.
Looking at it right now, okay, we're optimistic. We hope that there's more signings coming in, more players, and there's 1 or 2 youth players coming in, and that they shine. But can you realistically, at this moment in time, see United challenging for that top 4?
Do you know, I look at this the other week there when it put the thing on Sky of all the people who have come to the club now, and I thought we look like a proper football club.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
We look a proper team.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, you know, we looked, you know, people who were coming in and what they've done at other clubs and all that, and
people in the background as well.
Proper people.
Yeah,
proper people. Then I'm speaking to people who work at the club, and they're saying, Webby, it's worse than it was before they come in and all that, and all these people are getting these texts, emails about redundancy and all that, and you're thinking, it puts you down, and you look at the club, and I'll always say, when we played Arsenal and that rain come down, they should have been looking at betting that new club the next day. They was all here in the crowd watching the floods. It was embarrassment.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and nothing's happened. And they come out Anthony the other day saying it looks like they're going to build a new guy. It'll be done in 2030. No, we need it done within 2 years. 2 years we do it. We don't want 4 years, 5 years in time. We need it now.
Yeah, but I can turn around and say the same people out there, lots of United fans, right, are expecting United to challenge for top 4 this season. Whereas when Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in, he's talking about looking at 3 years for challenging. This is his first transfer where he can bring in players. But it's difficult to bring them in. There is no money, Webby. So we're going to have to be patient, surely. But to challenge for top 4, challenge for the honours this year, right at this moment, I can't see it. Right at this moment.
Let's have it right. You know, I look at that and I'm thinking, are we good enough to get 4th? Are we good enough?
That's the question, isn't it?
Are we good enough? Yeah, I think we are good enough. But as you look at last season, and we forget about that, Tony, because we won the FA Cup and we was min that day.
Yeah.
And we forget we come 8th and all the trap games we had to sit through last year. You know, we've got to get it right. We've got to back the manager. We've got to back everyone. You know, because if you look at it now, remember years ago, it used to be United and Arsenal going for the league, then it'll be United and Chelsea, then it'll be United and City. Now there's 7 or 8 teams.
Yes.
No, let's have it right. Before the ball was kicked last year, who would have said Aston Villa would come in the top 4? Nobody. But they got it right.
They're strengthening.
The proper, I think they've spent the most money this year, haven't they? You know, they've got a manager there who never got the chance at Arsenal. He lost a few games, they binned him out. He went and done the business in Spain. He come to Villa, his first game, they beat United, and fair play to him, they come 4th. So now you've got to look at it now. You could come 7th and 8th because these teams are getting bigger. And
that's the challenge, though, Webby. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. And I
look at Liverpool, Tony, next year, and they've not bought anyone as yet. They've got a new manager in. So you could really think that they could end up like we did when Fergie left. We don't know how this manager is, and they'll see these players on and they say, oh, it's all different now, we're doing this. But they could come 6th or 7th next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's got to be right. You're going to need that bit of luck. Those injuries not in the way. And then you're going to fight with the likes of City and Arsenal, and Chelsea will come good, and Villa will be there, and Tottenham will be there.
So it's going to be tough, Webby.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
And people say top 4, and you bite their hands off to be top 4.
Oh, listen, right now, I think any United fan would bite their hands off for the top 4. But realistically, the challenge is massive. It's Eric Ten Hag is under pressure. I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe has put everyone under pressure, which is quite right, because that's what you want here, and people should thrive under pressure. All we can do, Webby, is cross them fingers and hope we get off to a good start. Listen, me and Webby have had a chat. It's pre-season. We're not too down on it. We can just see that things are needed until the end of that transfer window, and let's hope we get off to a good start. The expectations are high. Let's see what happens. Thank you very much for joining us. Press that like button, get your comments in, and please subscribe.